and leverage. We will plan to also, of course, as a smaller company, be agile in adopting emerging technologies to adjust to the growing needs of our markets. Next, Gina. Our focus, as I mentioned earlier, will be small and medium businesses and underserved residential areas. Our projections. Now, these are very conservative projections based on just 0.5% of all residential and all business establishments in the Philippines, with a growth of around 25% every year. And here is provided as a 10-year outline of that. Next, please, Gino. Our projection costs, we project that we will be requiring 650 million over 10 years, which will be raised by primarily through our investors. We will be taking up some loans as well and taking up service credit to initiate our expansion into this industry. Thank you. Our following products. Now, notably, these products are quite limited right now. We understand that. But again, as a small company, we boast our agility to be able to expand our products as required by our market. For example, I understand that right now, these are only postpaid plans. But in the future, we plan to include prepaid plans, smaller plans, in-between plans, and very customized plans to meet the needs of our market as they arise. That is it for now, Your Honors.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Alfonso. There are just a few things. Everybody who applies for a telco franchise will always say that we plan to cater underserved and unserved areas. But then the initial rollout is always the same thing: Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao. So it seems to me that the real intention maybe is of course, to grow the business. But sometimes there are some that, although they promise to do the served and underserved areas or unserved areas, they tend to have an amnesia later on when they're already given the franchise. What is our guarantee, number one, that you are actually planning to roll out in those areas? But before you answer that, there are some very basic questions. What is your capitalization? Number one. Number two, what is your experience in having a telco company? Number three, are there still frequencies available for your company? So let's begin with capitalization. How much are you investing and who are your investors? And how did you come across this investment?
Okay, currently, ma'am, we are at 5 million capitalization, which covers our pre-operational costs. We plan to be able to raise around 70%, 75% of that 650 million within the first 3 years. Again, through more investors, through loans and service credits.
660 million. Now, what is your experience, Mr. Alfonso, Mr. Cruz?
Okay, well, personally, ma'am, I have not worked directly in the telecommunications or internet field. It has become incumbent upon us to hire the best consultants that we have out there. We are entrepreneurs, ma'am, not necessarily telco experts, but we understand that. But as such, we have hired the foremost experts, I would say, such as Engineer Cruz and Attorney Gonzalez.
Okay. Who is the majority shareholder of your company?
Right now, Attorney, Attorney, do you have a paper for us?
Actually, you equally own 20%.
To my knowledge, we have an equal stake right now among the board members.
And can you read to me the names of the board members, please?
So Ryan Resurrection, Alfonso Cruz, that's myself, Stephen Thomas Joseph, John Michael Jimenez, and Agnes Dorado.
Okay, so Mr. Cruz, what was your background prior? I mean, you're an entrepreneur. What companies have you held?
Currently, I'm Chief Operations Officer of Avec Shares Asia Inc. And I'm also CEO and President of Avalcom Asia Online.
And,
I
and
also
what kind of businesses are those?
Avec Asia is a real estate. It's a real estate company po. We invest in real estate and then we either develop it or sell it. And Avalcom Online po. Right now we are in. It's a company. Is primary directive is to gather funds and invest in tech startups.
This is my concern. There are some who obtain a franchise from us and then turn around and sell it to somebody else later on. That's why we're being careful for the operations of the company and are actually knowledgeable of the type of telco services they're supposed to provide. So let me ask NTC, have you actually investigated this company? Have you heard of them? Do they actually have a frequency?
Actually, yes. Actually, Your Honors, after po the company gets a franchise from the from Congress, then they would apply for us for provisional authority po kung ano po ang sorry, kung ano po ang kanilang is for new players, Your Honors.
Okay. Of course, we welcome more players to come in, but we just have to make sure that you're actually capable of running a telecommunications companies. Any of the senators would like to speak out? If Majority Leader? No questions. How about Engineer Galaw? What's your take on this? I'm just curious. I know you're here for the other telco company, but what do you think about the application of instant data?
Madam Chair, thank you for allowing us to participate. But if I may participate also, ma'am, if it's related to franchises of other telecommunications and broadcast, democracy.net.ph, of course, has an interest because this is part of the ICT ecosystem. Based on their initial presentation, Madam Chair, it appears that they don't need frequencies because they intend to roll out fiber. But typically, the franchise laws that we've seen provide for wired and wireless both, so that in the future, maybe if they intend to pivot towards additional services, they can. That's why the franchise laws are written in such a way to allow general types of telecommunications operations during its 25-year lifetime. And I don't know if it's relevant. I was planning to present this in the later presentation if the chair asked, but would you like to see a summary prepared by the Better Broadband Alliance on what is served and underserved in the Philippines?
I think that would be very timely. But before you do the presentation, because this is my plan, actually we were going to ask you to present. But let me first conclude this one, and then we can go to the next. And then, but concluding the interpellations for instant data does not mean that they are already excused from the hearing, because we can go back after your presentation and the presentation of the others, and follow-up questions and give follow-up questions if we have any to them. But with instant data, am I correct, Engineer Gala, that they don't need the frequencies because of their broadband concentration?
No, Madam Chair. They don't. They may not need frequencies because it appears that they are going to lay out fiber, so they're not going to be transmitting using
Oh,
frequencies. What I was saying, Madam Chair, with regard to the presentation, actually, this is an appendix of the presentation. It's just one slide if you want to take a look at it.
yeah. Please go ahead now. Go ahead, Engineer Gala, with the appendix of your presentation.
If you can see my screen, ma'am, that is the current. This is an image courtesy of the Better Broadband Alliance, of which democracy.net.ph is a member. This is where we are as of 2017, according to the National Broadband Plan, and there's supporting information from the SWS with regard to December 2019 data. So total internet use in the Philippines, with regard to broadband, is still at 45%. NCR is 65%. So the presentation of instant data is somewhat correct. There are still areas, particularly the rural poor, the urban poor, where they may not have adequate broadband infrastructure. Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, with just taking one look at it, they are severely unserved and underserved. This is what's relevant to the presentation of instant data, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Yes,
Engineer
please.
Gala.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you wish me to pull it down now?
Will the committee secretary please pull down the slide? Thank you, sir. Okay, we will hold off first on the final recommendation for instant data. We will go now to our next telco applicant. Do we have the representative of Transpacific? Okay, please unmute yourselves. Okay, Mr.
Good morning.
Salia.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, Your Honors. It's a privilege to give us the opportunity to present our application on the renewal of our franchise under Republic Act 8657 and House Bill 8551. If permitted, may I do a presentation on our a 5-minute presentation on what we have accomplished and what we are planning to roll out, our roadmap for the next 25 years.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Transpacific Broadband was incorporated in 1995. We have a 25-year congressional franchise given on June 1998. We have the authorities from NTC to transmit signal to satellites and VSAT International Internet Exchange Node. We have operations in the Clark Special Economic Zone to maintain, build, and operate a satellite station. The mission is to contribute to national development, especially into underserved and unserved areas, and for education and to wireless connection to government agencies and municipalities. This is our simple business model. From our satellite hub, we distribute the signal, the internet over satellite signal to schools, hospitals, government agencies, multilateral institutions, and other distribution. So this is our financial statement. We have been operating our stockholders' equity at 500 million, our authorized capital stock at 380 million. We have a C-band transponder. We're connected to a C-band transponder frequency. and a KU-KA band VSAT high throughput satellite communication, no? Through our 9.3 meter satellite antenna. And our seals of good governance is the certification from SEC, likewise radio licenses from NTC, which we have recently secured and paid around 5.65 million pesos. Okay, our operational milestone in 1998, we got the franchise. 1999, we provided uplink services for channel 4, 9, and 13 to be via satellite. In 2001, we've established the C-band infrastructure of satellite to distributed to schools. On 2003, in compliance to the franchise section 16, we've gone public through the Philippine Stock Exchange. In 2005, we were awarded National Award for Most Outstanding Internet Connectivity in Rural Areas in the Philippines. In 2001, we were granted by ESI USA a Disaster Preparedness Emergency Management Project. In 2019, we have invested and installed a KA-band VSAT to cater to less privileged and small home and office use clients. And in 2020, we plan to roll out this VSAT to more areas in the Philippines. So this is our C-band infrastructure, our VSAT hub provided by Viasat USA. On the lower left portion, this is an installation in one of the offshore drilling facilities of a drilling company in the Philippines. So these are seminars that we have conducted through our school network. And this is our coverage, which is the whole Asia and the Philippines. And recently, in 2019, we have established a KA-band VSAT installation. We have invested in this for about 200 million to provide more affordable services to underserved and unserved areas. So the coverage of the KA-band is through Pacific One satellite. We have an agreement with Pacific One satellite, which is the whole Philippines as well, Indonesia, and the Southeast Asian region. So this is a recent inauguration of the facility in 2019, graced by NTC and DICT representatives. So these are some of our installations. Recently, we've installed several number of DSWD sites through our local distributors all over the Philippines for the distribution of I believe this is for the 4-piece distribution. And we have recently also deployed 5 VSAT sites in Catanduanes. After the typhoon, we immediately provided 5 VSAT in these are the sites, no? Provincial Capital, Provincial Hospital, the District Hospital, and the livelihood centers, no, in the area. So this is very vital for all of these affected families, especially in times of COVID, that we deploy these communication systems so that we enable these COVID centers to report the correct number of COVID-affected Filipinos. So these are also some of the installations in DSWD in Leyte, in Tawi-Tawi, and as you've seen in front of the temple in Tawi-Tawi in Mindanao. Again, as near as Subic, Zambales, we have to install. No? Even in Antipolo, we have to install VSAT infrastructure in Antipolo because of the bad broadband internet in the area. No? Okay, from 2021 onwards, we plan to increase our rural and underserved areas to 500 sites annually. But this year, we have foreseen that we will connect about 1,500 sites because of this pandemic has increased the need for satellite connectivity and broadband internet. No? We are also establishing community Wi-Fi projects under the PISA Wi-Fi to 200 remote locations in the Philippines. We have formed, as of to date, 100 distribution group of installers through enabling computer shops, enabling internet cafes to be installers and distribution of VSAT broadband connectivity. No? And we also support the government broadband initiatives through the DICT and public Wi-Fi project. Thank you, and mabuhay.
Thank you for your presentation. It's very interesting. Now, since you provide a satellite service, does it mean that in areas without actual cable or fiber connection, they can have internet? They can have an internet service with your satellites?
Yes, ma'am. Most of
Okay,
our
how many
clients, yes.
So kaya.
Yes, ma'am. Most of our clients are those underserved and unserved. No fiber and no very bad cellular signal.
That's very good. Ilang Mbps ang napo-provide niyo for internet?
Okay, our minimum Mbps is 35 Mbps. That is the minimum. We can provide up to 200 Mbps. This is only possible because of new satellite technology under the HTS, high throughput satellite, no? Which is different from any other GEO satellite that is in the market right now.
But, this is actually a very good technology, especially in our country where there are a lot of places, mountainous areas that are not being reached by these physical cables for connection, especially with distance learning. So my concern is, in your general information sheet, you have noted that there are foreign nationals, specifically Chinese, involved in the capitalization. What is your capitalization now, and who are the owners of your company?
The capitalization now is at 380 million pesos. Like I mentioned, we are listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. So the 60-40 rule is monitored by the Philippine Stock Exchange on a monthly basis. And I believe the foreign national that holds shares of TBGI is less than 20%.
And do you know what company in China is invested in your company here?
These are not disclosed because these are bought from stockbroker companies.
Oh, they're stock.
Yes.
They're
But
stocks.
this is not just one shareholder. These are multiple shareholders, ranging from I believe there are Malaysians, there are Singaporeans, and there are Chinese and of different nationalities, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sarya, how long have you been in that company?
I've been in the company for 20 years, Your Honor.
So I have a question. For example, there's a remote area that's not been reached by the other telecommunications companies, and a mayor approaches you and says, this area is unserved. Would you be able to erect a satellite? Is that something that you are capable of doing?
Yes, Your Honor. The satellite installation takes less than 1 day. The problem with the problem with our because Philippines is an archipelagic country, the logistics takes 1 month.
To bring that. No, but you know what? 1 month and another day is nothing compared to years
Yes, Your Honor,
of them waiting to have a proper connection. Now, and then how do you go about subscribing? Let's say it's a town. Can they use their cell phones?
Yes.
You can provide service for that. And how much is the average cost?
Yes, Your Honor. With the after the installation, they can put a Wi-Fi router, or they can plug in their computer. With the Wi-Fi router, you can now access to your mobile phone all the means of communication through Viber. It can be a Viber text, it can be a Viber call, or Messenger, or WhatsApp. So all of those applications in your phone will now be enabled through the connectivity via satellite. No, our standard rates is
this is another question. Let's say it's a town of 1,000 people. Can all that 1,000 people be accommodated?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. We plan to put up a community Wi-Fi project, no, that can distribute the VSAT signal through Wi-Fi signals, no, so which makes it terrestrially wireless, no. But for
Okay.
individual users, they can put the VSAT in their homes, in their offices, or in their schools.
And what's the range of the satellite? Like how many kilometers?
It really depends on the terrestrial wireless already, Your Honor. As for the satellite, it's fixed wireless, no. So if I put it at home, so and you put a Wi-Fi in your home, so your whole home is connected through a Wi-Fi signal. And
Okay. No. Because I'm just trying to determine. Let's say we talk about Coron, for
yes,
example. That's a pretty big island. So would you be able to cover it? How many satellites do you need to be able to cover all those areas there?
each household will have to have one satellite.
Oh, it's one satellite per
Yes,
household.
yes, one satellite dish, the small one.
Okay, how much is that?
Okay, the satellite we're now selling at $800 per satellite, and the monthly bandwidth is around 4,000 pesos for a 30 gig cap, data cap, and unlimited is around 7,000 pesos.
Okay, so if I'm a business, for example, here in my household, can you put a satellite?
Yes po. Yes po. We can. It so happens that to compare our prices with the fiber in metro cities, it is not competitive, because the fiber installations are I mean, there is economies of scale. Yes. Unlike
Okay,
our, we drop a satellite in each and every home.
all right. Well, that's an interesting possibility because sometimes, like, we have like some senators here who have remote places that are not reached by the signal of the other telcos. So they can probably, we can probably experiment and get one of your satellites if it and see how
Yes,
that works.
yes po. We have installed as far as Batanes.
Okay.
We have in the Samar as well, no, because of it was frequently devastated by typhoon.
So how many satellites again do you have all over the country?
We have 400 satellites all over the country.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Amy Marcos. Ma'am, baka kailangan ninyo ng satellite sa Ilocos Norte. Okay.
Tama yan. That's what we're interested in. I'm just here to lend support to the efforts of our good chairwoman to push for our better internet connections, as well as some of these provincial radio stations that we so direly need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Senator Nancy.
Hindi, kasi in one of the slides that they presented, parang they had the plan for 500 areas to put up satellites. And I think parang 500 and 200 ho ba yun? Yung future plans ho ng company.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. The new system that we put up last 2019, we were able to roll it out last August only. No? Last August of 2020 because of the pandemic. So from August 2020 up to this time, which is February, about 6 months, we were able to roll out 400 sites all over the Philippines in a 6 months time. So
And if you get another 25 years,
we plan to roll out 500 every year, 500 to 1,000 sites every year.
Okay. Siguro, Madam Chair, maybe the company can submit to the committee yung potential areas where they plan to roll out. And maybe we can also suggest, lalong-lalo na dun sa mga areas na nahihirapan abutin ng DepEd ngayon para dun sa blended learning nila. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes.
Following on Senator Nancy, kung titingnan ninyo sa DICT, hindi po kasali ang mga region natin, Region 1 and 2 sa plano ng DICT. Kaya aawit na ako sa iba't ibang may prangkisa rito.
Yes, this is a very, as I said, valuable technology to have, especially now. So we would really appreciate a partnership with a company like that for the government to be able to roll out its distance learning program. So thank you to the representatives, Mr. Saya and Attorney Leonie. Sorry, putol kasi dito yung sa pangalan ninyo. We will recommend, hopefully to the plenary, the renewal of your franchise. Thank you. So now,
Thank you, Your Honors.
We shall now move on to the last applicant for the renewal of their franchise, Dito Telecommunity. May we ask the representatives, Attorney Tamano, or whoever will do a presentation. First, we would like to hear from Dito, an update on your rollout. And then I would like to hear the audit report of KPMG, Manabat and Company. And then I would like to hear from the NTC, and then of course from Engineer Gallo. So we have a fair amount of time, but I'm sure there will be questions from our senators. So please keep your presentations as concise as possible. Thank you. Let's begin now with Dito.
Thank you, Your Honor, Senator Po, and to all the other honorable members of the committee. I'm Attorney Tamano, Chief Administrative Officer of Dito, and with me is retired Major General Santiago, who is the Chief Technology Officer.
Magandang hapon po, ma'am.
We thank you for this opportunity to address any questions. In regard our rollout, General Santiago can give you perhaps a deeper dive, but to perhaps answer the first questions that the Honorable Senator Po raised earlier in regard our commercial rollout. There was a question at the onset of today's hearing as to how many people have already signed up for our subscriptions, and if we may be allowed to provide this information now. In the one full day that we have had of commercial rollout in the 15 cities in Mindanao and Visayas, we had a total sign-up of 22,748 persons. This is the online sign-up. The qualified, meaning those who have compatible phones and are in the proper areas, were 6,597, which is nearly 30% of the total online signups. Now, adding to this, the SIM purchases from our partner stores and from other digital channels, as of March 9, 11:59 p.m., we have a total of 7,586 in terms of subscribers. Of course, that number is increasing as we speak because of the online and the other outlets that we have. In regard to the rollout, Your Honors, perhaps General Santiago, if you'd like to give an update on this.
For the rollout to meet our second-year commitment by July of 2021, we are confident, ma'am, that we can meet the population coverage required of us of 51%, because right now we're nearing 45% population coverage, and that we are very aggressive in our 5G rollout that would allow us to maintain the 55 Mbps minimum average broadband speed.
So basically what you're saying, Mr. Santiago, is that you've actually surpassed the 37% coverage that you initially committed to. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. For our first year commitment, what we have reported to NTC is the 37.48% population coverage to meet our first year commitment. However, in our internal simulation conducted after the testing, we determined that we're more than 40% already. And right now, we are approaching the 45% population coverage.
Well, that's good news. How about my question on the compatibility with the different phones? So what's the issue there? Why can't you be compatible with all types of phones?
Ma'am, siguro po I should clarify that the compatibility list, those models that were included in our compatibility list have undergone a collaborative, meaning with the manufacturers, a collaborative test of their compatibility to our network. And because this is collaborative, we are assured that the manufacturers are confident that the brands that have undergone this testing are 100% compatible.
Okay, I
So-
see the hand of, hold on, Mr. Santiago. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I see the hand of Engineer Gala. Do you have a comment on that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually surprised that dito telecommunity restricted their list. I mean, it's a pretty restrictive list on their website with regard to what phones are compatible. The reason why there is this question with regard to compatibility is because of the type of frequencies that were licensed to dito telecommunity, right? They do not have 900 megahertz. They do not have 1800 megahertz. And these are the workhorse frequencies for 2G. What they do have are frequencies for 3G, LTE, 4G, and 5G, 3500 megahertz. They have that already. Now, phones that are older than 2014, 2015, about that time, will probably not be compatible, these smartphones, because they do not carry a technology known as voice over LTE. But the smartphones that are newer now have that technology, so there's really not much to worry about. What we need to worry about, however, is that the feature phone market in the Philippines, meaning they are not smartphones, is still very high in the country. And typically, they only have, lalo na yung mga those ones used by our kababayans who are socioeconomic class D and E. These are the dumb phones, the feature phones that only run on 2G frequencies. So they are about 60% pa rin of our population. We cannot expect them to be able to access the frequencies the frequencies and technology that were licensed to dito telecommunity. So to your question, ma'am, about compatibility, it's nothing to worry about if you're using a smartphone. But if you're not using a smartphone, then there's an issue there.
Your
So,
Honor, if I may, I just add
Yeah, but
something.
how will you rectify that? Because when you speak of underserved and unserved areas, a lot of those belong to a demographic that might not be able to afford a smartphone. So how do you plan to provide service in those areas if their phones aren't compatible? So do we end there? Engineer Gala again.
Ma'am, unfortunately, that cannot be answered by dito telecommunity for as long as Globe and Smart have essentially a duopoly over 900 and 1800 megahertz, right? And as I've informed the chair so many times before, until we have spectrum management reform, that means that the NTC will be able to claw back and then reassign for frequencies to be more equitably assigned to those who will use them. We will remain in this situation. So that's a matter for a lot of reforms down the line that the chair is aware of.
But how much, Engineer Gala, how much now is the most or maybe the cheapest smartphone that will be compatible with Dito?
Off the top of my head, ma'am, there's already some in the. I'm speaking, ma'am, as somebody who sometimes assembles his own cell phones. You can get one for approximately 2,000, 3,000, even less. The technology is getting cheaper by the day,
Yeah.
so that if perhaps Dito Telecommunity will review some of the subsidized programs that they have deployed in India by Reliance Jio or by DTAC in Thailand, they can probably offer it for cheap.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. This is a whole range of reforms that need to be undertaken. But we don't want to punish a company who's coming in without the same pull and resources as the other ones. So, as you're right, it could be probably a subsidized partnership. We have Cherry Mobile, one of these companies that are less expensive. But let's say those with an iPhone, because I don't think you mentioned it as part of the ones that are available. Will they be able to use Dito?
I believe, ma'am, the iPhone can. There's nothing stopping an iPhone user from using their technologies. In fact, the iPhone of 2 generations ago was already ready for this technology, for the frequencies and the technology that's being
Hindi
provided.
kasi, Engineer Gala, hindi kasi dun sa listahan ng Dito, I don't think they mentioned the Apple gadgets. Is there a
Ma'am,
reason for that?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I don't know why they made it restrictive when in fact
Your Honor, if we may,
Yes.
that's really just a partial list. And the reasoning behind it, General Santiago will give the technical reason, but the commercial reason is because we want to protect the consumers from not wasting their money. We don't want them to waste their money, buy our SIMs, buy our services, and they cannot fully utilize their phones because of a phone compatibility. The partial list that we have provided these are phones in which we as a company have had extensive testing as well as coordination with
With the
these handset manufacturers so
Okay,
that
so
they
what-
can fully optimize the use of the Dito phone.
Yeah, you
Perhaps,
explained that
General
earlier,
Santiago,
Attorney.
is there anything you want to add to that?
Go ahead, Attorney Santiago, Mr. Santiago.
Ma'am, yung pong compatibility list namin, ano lang po yun, it is a list. Sabi ko nga po kanina earlier that those that have undergone a collaborative test with the manufacturers to provide both the manufacturer and Dito the confidence that there will be no technical issue if a subscriber will use those phones. Yung pong wala sa list, hindi po namin sinasabi that they're not compatible. But what we're saying is that hindi po ito nag-undergo ng collaborative test with the manufacturer, and therefore, to protect the public, there may be technical issues that are unforeseen. We just wanted to say na nag-undergo pa rin po kami ng collaborative testing para ma-expand yung mga models na nandun po sa compatibility list namin.
Okay, as long as we know that's open-ended and it doesn't mean that if they're not on the primary list that it's not compatible. Now, is it true, if I want to get a Dito SIM, where can I get it?
There are 2 ways to get it, Your Honor. First, offline, meaning to go to currently one of the 10 outlets that are open in Visayas and Mindanao, or through online. Now, we encourage online, of course, because online we go through a series of questions in order to find out, number 1, is your phone compatible? Number 2, is your phone SIM locked? Number 3, is your phone blacklisted? And number 4, whether or not you are in the 15 cities that are part of the commercial launch.
So you can do it. You can do it online, Attorney.
We are actually encouraging people to do it online.
But do you have it in SM outlets?
Yes, I can provide the 10 outlets in which they are available, Your Honors. I know it's
Okay.
on our website.
So
it's on our website.
When you say that it's available in SM, it's actually your Dito physical store. Am I correct?
No, these are through our handset partners. So we will be having Dito signature stores opened, perhaps in a month or
What do you
so.
mean? what do you mean handset partners? So let's say Samsung. Ganon.
Yes. Those would be
Handset vendor.
That's a handset, right?
Your Honor.
Okay, so
Yes.
but it's only the Samsung being sold in an SM. How about the other malls?
Well, as of right now, these are the 10 partner stores in which it's
Oh.
available, Honor.
Okay.
I can provide the list if you would like. I can read it now.
Can you read them quickly?
Sure. Your Honor, in Visayas, it is available in SM Consolacion. It's also available in SM City Cebu, in Gaisano Grand Mandaue Centro, in SM City Cebu, and also Ayala Center Cebu Business Park.
Okay.
In Mindanao, sorry.
No, go ahead,
would you like to
Mindanao.
continue, Your Honor? Yeah. It is available in Gaisano Mall of Davao, as well as SM Ecoland and City Mall, Your Honor.
Okay, that's good. At least, there are different outlets and not just one company, one type of mall. Okay, let me go now to the MTC with your report, and then later on KPMG, Manabat, and then of course we go back to the arbiter, Engineer Gan. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning again, Madam Chair. Can I ask Deputy Commissioner Cabarrios to discuss the results of the audit of our independent auditor, Your Honors? Thank you
Yes,
very much.
please. Yusek Cabarrus.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Your Honors. Good afternoon. Based on the technical audit conducted by RG Manapat and company, the DITO has covered 37.48% of the population based on the 2015 census conducted by PSA, and the average minimum download speed, Your Honors, the average for 4G is 85.9 Mbps, and for 5G is 507.50 Mbps, and these are higher than the commitment for the first year, Your Honor. So the company Dito Telecommunications Corporation, Your Honor, has complied with its first year commitment, Your Honor. The test was conducted using this 1,602 cell sites that were operational when the test was conducted, Your Honor. And they have used the procedure used is based on Philippine Standards for Related Services, Rule 4400, and they have, according to the auditor, you know, they have religiously complied with the rules on the conduct of technical audit, Your Honors. And based on the reports, Your Honor, Dito Telecommunications Corporation is on track. And the second audit, Your Honor, is scheduled this coming July 2021, Your Honor, for the second year. And we expect that they will be moving faster in the rollout, because by the time there will be users already in the network, and the result of the speed may vary already, Your Honor, because first year there are still no subscribers using the network, so most of the frequencies that are used in the audit, in the test itself. So mataas po yung lumabas, but once there are already users in the system, which we expect by July of this year, if they cannot put up more infrastructure, they may not be able to provide that 55 Mbps. But if they continue the pace that they're going, building the infrastructure, they may be able to meet the 55 Mbps minimum average speed, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
So in summary, yung sa Cabarrio, sinasabi ninyo na yung mga pinangako nila ay na-deliver naman nila dito sa rollout na to?
Yung first year commitment, Your Honor, yes.
So yung first year. Okay. Because yun yung syempre basis natin for the renewal. Moving forward, of course, that's another challenge. We need to craft the franchise agreement in such a way that they will have to continuously honor their commitments moving forward. Okay, let me ask, thank you again, Yusa Cabarros. KPMG?
Yes, Your Honors. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jelaine Manrique. So maybe just to quickly introduce myself, I'm one of the partners of KPMG, RG Manabat and Company. So my area of expertise, or one of my area of expertise, is really on technology, risk and assurance engagements, and part of it is doing technical audit, attestation, and also agreed upon procedures. Now, I don't have any presentation deck, but I echo what DEPCOM EGAI presented. So that is the result of the independent audit in the conduct of specified procedures based on the first year delivery of DITO and to their level of service, Your Honors.
Okay, let me go through the checklist of DITO. And I want you to confirm if they've actually delivered on that.
Sure, Madam Chair.
Okay. They said double download speeds by 1 year of operations and quadruple it by year 2 and achieve 84% population coverage by 2025. I know that we are ahead of, we're moving too much ahead of this commitment schedule, but are they on track to be able to deliver that? Or if not, what are the obstacles?
Yes, Your Honor. So we can only provide in terms of the result or the factual findings based on year 1 audit, and based as mentioned by DEPCOM EGAI, they were able to meet the committed level of service, specifically on national population coverage and the minimum broadband speed.
Okay, so here it is. 37.3% of the population coverage. They said they surpassed that. Am I correct?
The one in the memorandum circular, Your Honors, would be 37.03% to be exact. And they were able to achieve 37.48%. And that's also based on the Form A that they have submitted to NTC.
Okay, next, minimum average broadband speed of 27 Mbps. Were they able to reach that?
Yes, Your Honor. So we covered 4G and 5G pursuant as well to the CPCN and the coverage for these tests. So they were able to achieve 85.9 Mbps for 4G and 507.5 Mbps for 5G sites.
Okay. Their operation expense, CapEx, OpEx in billion is about 150 billion. Did you cover this in your audit report?
Not on this year of test, Madam Chair, because this, they are not commercially live yet, and the only level of service that we tested for year 1 are the 2. So national population coverage and the minimum broadband, average broadband speed. So that will be subject in future audit.
What is the, for DITO, what is your debt to equity ratio now?
Yeah. Your Honors, we can present that if you'd like us to present the debt to equity ratio.
Can't you just say what it is? Is it a long?
It's about 72 to 28%. So it's a very
that
healthy
accept-
debt equity. Yes, it's a very healthy debt to equity ratio, Your Honor. Yeah, it's sorry. To correct, it's 77% is to 23%.
So
For this type of industry, Your Honor, which is capex intensive, that's quite a healthy standard, Your Honor.
So your debt is about 77%.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
then about 23% is your equity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I know that this is capital intensive, but earlier, Commissioner Cordova is requiring a different ratio for the broadcast industry. So, Mr. Cordova, do you have an exception when it comes to them?
Your Honors, I think maybe Attorney Tamano is stating their current debt to equity. What we have is they submitted po kasi every April. So what we have is their 2019 debt equity. We're still going to receive their 2020 debt equity. As of 2019 po, their debt to equity ratio is 8.02% to 91.98%. So maybe they can improve before they submit to us, Your Honors.
Oh, so before, last year, 8% lang yung debt nila.
Ano po ito, as of 2019 audited financial statements which we receive 2020, Your Honors, and then yung pong 2020 they will submit it this 2021.
And maybe because the reason for that, obviously they use that capital to be able to roll out.
They're already rolling out po. Po, tama po kayo, 8%, 8.02% to 91.98%, Your Honors.
Okay. Now, maybe, thank you for the presentation, Mr. Jalain.
You're welcome, Madam Chair.
Yes. Any questions before we go to Engineer Gala? I think we have a majority leader.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. Yeah, first on the onset, I'd like to congratulate Dito Telco for launching in Mindanao and the Visayas. I've always said this, that whenever I go home to Mindanao, we're always in a twilight zone when it comes to connectivity. And, I'm here now in Cagayan de Oro, and when I go to Bukidnon, many parts of Bukidnon are completely offline. Particularly in our farm in San Miguel in Maramag, Bukidnon, I have to find a particular santol tree which I stand under, and that's the only natatawa si Ma'am Amy, but it's true. That's the only site I have a signal in, and we have no other signal. So when I'm there, and I don't know why, whenever I'm in Bukidnon, in my hometown, in the farm of my dad, so many people are trying to get in touch with me, and that's the time I have no connection whatsoever. And so we welcome a third player to come in as dedicated and as aggressive, no? As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to speak to the heads of Dito, and I said, why don't you make it like what you did with Phoenix? No, I spoke to Mr. Deniso, and I said, Phoenix Oil became a big player because they concentrated on all areas of Mindanao with their fuel distribution system. So they could do the same for Visayas and Mindanao, and then of course go up to Metro Manila. I just have a question. I know you rolled out in the Visayas and Mindanao. What particular reason for that, Attorney Tamano?
Thank you so much, Senator Miggs. So two reasons. The first, of course, is if you look we wanted to be really different. The other companies, when they do roll out, they always start with NCR. But we wanted to show that we're a different company. So we rolled out first in the areas that we believe are underserved. And this is Visayas and Mindanao. There's also the sentimental reason, Your Honor, that one of the main shareholders of Dito is Udena, and it's a Davao company. And in fact, before we became Dito, Dito was Mindanao Islamic Telephone Company, and our purpose under that franchise was really to serve the underserved Muslim areas in Mindanao. So we wanted to be very true to that. The second point, really, it's a commercial decision that we wanted to. It was deemed by our commercial team that it's best to start in these 15 cities. But please do rest assured, Your Honor, that we will reach Bukidnon, we will reach Metro Manila very soon, Your Honor.
Yes. Do you have a plan on reaching the NCR as well and Luzon? Do you have a timeline for that
Yes,
as
Your
well?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor. By May or June, we will already be in NCR.
So how many cell towers have you set up already, Attorney Tamano, for dito? I know you have I know it's a joint towers, right? These are joint towers. So how many have you set up jointly or have already been set up privately by dito?
Your Honor, we'll let our Chief Technology Officer answer that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Senator Subiri, good morning po. Good afternoon na po. Yung own built po namin is already more than 2,200. That's why I said we're on track on achieving our second year commitment. Because
That's a lot, huh? That's a lot in 1 year's time, a year and a half? 2,000?
Almost year and a half.
Wow.
Almost year and a half. And we have contracts with several independent tower companies. We don't know whether they have yung mga pinagawa po namin sa kanila ng mga tower will have the second tenant, but we are their first tenants. They are now aggressively doing their own rollout, and I think about 50 of 50 towers have already been completed by these 4 independent tower companies. So this is in addition to what we have already built.
So, Madam Chair, for dito, they already had a soft launching March 8th. In this soft launching, what is the with those who have been able to buy your dito phones and service, how was it? Mabilis ba ang speed? Mabagal ba? Ano bang naka 4G ba? 5G? Ano bang services na ibigay mo dun sa mga nauna nakabili ng dito?
To show Your Honors, please, we actually have, if the Honorable Chair and the committee will allow, we actually have a very short presentation on the speeds and the service that we were able to provide in Cebu and Davao. With your permission, Your Honor, if we may be allowed to.
But basically po, Your Honor, it reflects the result of the technical audit.
Yeah.
Let's see the presentation. Yeah, we'd like to see it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yan pa yung update. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Please go ahead. Your Honors, are you able to see our presentation?
Yes, we do.
Santiago, please.
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor. Ito po ay hindi naman hindi po ito scientific. So nagkaroon lang po ng random testing comparing our indoor and outdoor test results in the 10 cities in Cebu or in the Visayas that is covered by our commercial lawn. So please. So ito po ay sa Cebu City. Yung outdoor niya is 114 at yung indoor niya, which is in SM City Cebu, is 74 Mbps. In Mandaue, it is 55 Mbps outdoor and 33 Mbps indoor in Gaisano Mall. Next. In Consolacion, it is 118 in an outdoor site and 93.9 Mbps in SM Consolacion. While in Naga City, the outdoor is 51 and the indoor in Metro Market is 28. While in Talisay, the outdoor is 84, while the indoor in Gaisano Grand Fiesta Mall is 36 Mbps. In Liloan, the outdoor is 38 and the indoor is 19 in Gaisano Grand Mall. So those are just a sample of the speed tests.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I continue, Madam Chair, with some questions, just for clarification. So, looks like it was a success in these areas, gentlemen. How about what packages do you give to your consumers? Do you have like packages like what they do with Globe and Smart, only internet and all these package A, package B, all these to get enticed to invest in? Would the Dito also have the same setup?
Yes, Your Honor. We actually made it very simple. We have one welcome package. It's 199. Allow us to say that it is the true only, and General Santiago will explain why it's true only. In the network areas that we have, you will have unlimited SIM Dito to Dito calls and unlimited Dito to Dito text. But in terms of data, it is truly unlimited.
Unlimited, no data cap, no speed cap, and no data cap.
That's for 199 pesos, Your Honor.
Wow, is that for real? 199 pesos for real?
Yes, Your Honor.
Really?
But to be clear, it's a promo, Your Honor. It's for 30 days.
For 30 days. Natatawa din si Commissioner Cordoba kasi kung hindi mo sinabi promo, baka singilin kayo ng NTC. But that's a great promo, even if it's for 30 days. I mean, that's something that they can use, especially this time of online learning. Naku, kailangan talaga nila yan. No, kailangan talaga nila yan. So, finally, what's your targeted market share, gentlemen? You want to initially get how much of the market in how many years?
Your Honor, we do have projections on this, but these are very conservative. Our end goal is to have at least more than 30% of market share. We believe that, if I may, just a little bit addition to that, Your Honor, we believe with our business model, actually, by the third year of operations in terms of EBITDA, we will already be positive. And in the fifth year of our operations, we would be cumulative positive EBITDA, meaning that by that time, by the fifth year, we would have paid off our loans. And we are running into true profitability. So allow us to say that the business model is there, and we are aggressively going to run after that market share. Your Honor.
Thank you. My final word lang, Madam Chair, is I hope that they continue to pursue their aggressiveness in being able to put up the networks all over Mindanao and the Visayas. Kami dito, uhaw kami, Madam Chair, sa signal. I mean, I have one, and I won't anymore mention which one, but when I leave Cagayan, not even Cagayan de Oro, when I leave my house here, 30 minutes out, going towards Bukidnon, we're still in Cagayan de Oro, I have no signal, completely no signal. Until I hit another town of Bukidnon, a big town, that's the only time we have signal. And then when you leave that town again, you have no signal. Imagine if you get stuck in the middle of nowhere, you have no way of communicating to the outside world. So we really need, particularly in our areas in Mindanao and the Visayas, we really need an additional backup, additional network that can be a bit aggressive. I don't know why, whenever I see our friends of the other two networks, I always tell them, add more towers. All of a sudden, wala na nangyayari. I mean, with all due respect to them, I have not seen any new towers being built at this point in time servicing these particular areas. They like to limit it to urban centers. So my appeal to Dito as the third player, please do what you did with Phoenix, which basically saturated the whole Mindanao area and Visayas area, and do the same for your cell towers. I think that's the way you can get more of the market share, because really connectivity is the key. The services come second, but it's connectivity. If they don't have your service there, you won't be able to sell your product to the people. So congratulations to their launch, Madam Chair, and I think we really need a a new player in this point in time. I think our friends in Smart and in Globe, they're friends of ours. They're very close friends of ours, but yet they slacked. There was a bit of slacking in terms of expansion, I think, if you ask me, Madam Chair. Even in Metro Manila, we still have several drop calls. I can tell you exactly, Madam Chair, from my house to the Senate, when I'm talking in the phone, I know exactly when my calls will drop. And I don't know why. I'm sure the owners pass in the same places too, but I don't know why they never improve on it. So, out of sheer frustration, sometimes all the explicit language you say in the car, because you need to make important calls, and yet the drops in the phone drops on you. So yes, Madam Chair, it's also good to have a decent and a real competition in place, so that they're always on their toes, coming up with new technology and expansion of their areas. So thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to ask questions.
Thank you, Majority Leader Zubiri. Actually, maybe you can ask the Transpacific Broadband Corporation that has those satellite technology to put in your remote areas in Bukidnon. They can also help, I suppose. Okay.
Yes, that would be a big help. Big help.
Before we go to Engineer Gala, I have a question. At least 2 LGUs have issued stop orders and complaints against the illegal construction of cell sites. Although in Bayanihan 2, we already streamlined the process, one thing that we cannot get rid of because of safety is the building permit. Apparently, you have in Bacolod City an issue because you did not have the corresponding building permit, and you also had one in Malabon City LGU for the illegal construction because, again, you had no building permit. Can you clarify that, please?
Your Honors, when it comes to the issue of building permits, we do always remind our contractors and subcontractors that they must be fully compliant with all requirements before building the towers. And so, at least as a policy of DITO, we push for full compliance in regard to the building of towers. John Santiago, do you have any comments on this?
In our contract with our full turnkey vendors, that is one of our requirement that any construction, before any construction is going to start, that all of the required permits and licenses are secured. So in these 2 areas that have been mentioned, ma'am, we have also directed our vendors to address these issues, and I think there were already updates that were provided to us by our vendors.
Okay. The important thing, of course, is the reputation also of your company. So make sure that you hire subcontractors that actually follow rules, or so that you're not misrepresented. So hopefully you can resolve those 2 issues, because there are obviously possible potential clients there that need your service.
Thank you, Your Honors.
So just update us on that. So may we ask now Engineer Gala for your much awaited presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With your permission, I will start sharing the screen.
Committee Secretary, please.
Okay, here we go. This is the presentation that I was asked to with regard to reviewing the DITO Telecommunity Technical Audit Report. We correlated the following spreadsheets. The original Form A downloaded from the NTC website, which was uploaded back in 2018. The estimated barangays covered file that's supposed to be on 2020-12-29. I cannot vouch for the truth of this Excel file, ma'am, but let's treat it as what it is, because it correlates against the PDF report that was submitted to your office, the DITO audit report. I must caution you, however, Madam Chair, that we had to manually review this because it was manually scanned, and I think we lost several pages in the file. I don't know if the pages are in the actual submission to you, but I will present the effect of that later. So items of significance that we found: the audit KPMG reported 1602 cell sites, which the actual field audit that they performed was 200, or about 12%. There were 9 cell site test points, 3 near, 3 middle, and 3 far. This is the caveat I was mentioning earlier. The auditor reported that there was a Form A coverage of 8,860 barangays, but in our manual review, we only found 848 barangays, or a variance of 12. The auditor reported Form A population coverage of 37,851,953, or 37.48 population coverage. In our manual review, we were only able to check 37,540,926, or 37.18%. This is still much higher than, this is still significantly higher than the original Form A that was submitted with 37.03%. So in this error, please note, in this report, please note we have a potential error of 0.82%. With regard to the results, using the manual review as base data, we see that there's a net increase of 3.38% in barangay coverage, as they correctly reported, but the actual year 1 population increase based on the TOR for TOR points is only 0.15%. So this essentially means that there's not much difference between what they promised and what was amended. The detailed changes, they pretty much stuck to their original promises. 68.11% of the original year 1 barangays still appear in the amended Form A, while only 31.89% do not appear in the amended Form A. There are 761,902 who are not in the original year 1 but are in the amended year 1. So there's not much difference. It's only an 11.65% population difference. Population affected. Based on their field audit results, the target intended per Form A, the barangays Form A, 8,844, the actual results reflect 2,671 barangays. Or in other words, the field audit was able to capture 30.2% of barangays. When it comes to population, the actual audited is 15,149,502, or 40.35% coverage. This means that unlike what was intended during the crafting of the terms of reference, we did not do a 1:1 check in terms of what barangays were covered and what barangays were not. So with regard further correlation errors in the manual review, in the spreadsheet that was sent to us, we saw about 30 barangays that were not in the Excel spreadsheet sent to us, but we saw them in the printout of the audit report. So we're seeing an equivalent population variance of 0.32%. So it does not affect the overall review. So our opinions on the approval of the NTC of an amended Form A. Dito Telecommunity appears to have an increased committed year 1 population coverage. The manual review shows an increase of 0.15%, or an increased population coverage of 150,000. The actual increase should be slightly greater because of the variance of 12 barangays that we could not find. So there's about 311,000 population that we did not see, and probably should be reflected in a 100% review. The increase in coverage will probably not affect the score for year 1 in the original commitment. So we recommend that the NTC should publish the amended and approved Form A. We can then compare actually what is the difference between Form A Year 1 original, Form A Year 1 amended, Form A Year 2 original, Form A Year 2 amended, and so on. So we will be able to compare, and we will see how much improvement is going to be there based on their score, or if there's no difference in their score at all. On the approval of the NTC of a use of a sampling in the independent audit, the intent of the Form A document was to be the single source of truth against which the performance of the winning bidder was supposed to be measured. The intent of the stakeholders regarding the technical audit was it was supposed to be a compliance check against the promises of Dito Telecommunity. So based on the manual review, we only were able to see the performance of 262,671 barangays out of 8,844. So there's a field audit coverage of about 40.35%. So we recommend that NTC should redo compliance to Section 13, which specifies the procedure to select the independent auditor and the procedure by which the auditor is going to go about doing the audit. Covered of all barangays covered by Year 2 as presented by the amended Form A, and we recommend that a sampling method should not be applied. Having said that, I would like to congratulate KPMG at this point for an excellent performance of their audit. They performed their audit precisely to what was specified by the audit parameters. They did really well, and we hope that if they are chosen to be the auditor for Year 2, they do the same. They provide the same rigor in terms of their audit. But this time, please, let's not use sampling, because that sampling was not intended by the stakeholders during the crafting of the original TOR. On the results of the independent audit themselves, the Year 1 committed speed in the original Form A submission was 27 megabits per second. The average speed that we determined from review of independent results is 160.43 Mbps. The average speed for 4G implementation was 87.32. Average speed for 5G implementation is 356.96 Mbps. Please note, this is the result of an unloaded network. So results will probably be different during actual commercial operation of the network. And we congratulate Dito Telecommunity for actually performing 6 times better than what was promised. But of course, this is unloaded. We have yet to see how Dito Telecommunity will perform with a loaded network. We recommend that the NTC should publish a clean copy of their technical audit report on their website so that the public will be able to see for themselves what the results are. That's it, Madam Chair. If you want me to go to the details of the spreadsheet for the 15 cities in the barangays that were covered, I can do that, but it's probably not going to, we don't need to take a lot of your time.
No, first of all, I would like to manifest for the record our sincere gratitude to Engineer Gala for this presentation. This is an independent body that did an audit. Ito talaga yung ginawa para sa bayan. And napuyat si Engineer Gala this weekend. He's not even a consultant in our committee. Maybe the majority leader can increase our budget a bit so we can give proper compensation for those that are really working hard for this. I will petition for that. There's so many consultants for public services because it's a very vast concern of a committee. And banking also is also very technical for me. But Engineer Gala, thank you very much for your very fair assessment, and also for acknowledging KPMG Manabat. It's a very reputable company, KPMG. It's an international company, so they're not only answerable to the stakeholders here, but abroad, because they're also audited as an auditing company. So thank you very much for that presentation, Engineer Gala. So when we talk about the deliverables, it seems that Engineer Gala is also in agreement that Dito Telecommunity has actually delivered. There's some variances, there's some differences, but it's very little compared to what you were actually able to roll out, the good of the rollout. As we mentioned, and we have just to classify that these are unloaded, as Engineer Gala mentioned, hindi pa kasi talaga nag-full commercial rollout. Kaya yung speed pwede pang mag-iba. On the other hand, at least it's already there. We were able to show that. So when I defend this franchise before the body, I can say that this was actually also audited by an independent advocacy group. Hindi lamang yung sariling, hindi lamang NTC at hindi lamang yung auditor hired by Dito. But I hope, Dito, you continue your relationship with KPMG for your next audit sometime, I think in July, for your other rollout. That will be very helpful for consistency. Are there any questions from our senators present, or does Senator Bongo want to manifest?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, I just want to manifest my intent to support these measures, which will greatly beneficial for our country. Fellow colleagues here in the Senate, our resource persons, and everyone in attendance. A pleasant morning to afternoon to all of you. Madam Chair, our Constitution recognizes the role of communication and information in nation building. Rightly so, these two elements play a crucial role in saving countless lives amidst all the calamities that have stricken the country. Magmula sa sunog, bagyo at kahit saang pandemya ating kinakaharap ngayon, kailangan po ang interconnected at well-informed ang mga Pilipino upang makapaghanda ng maayos at makaiwas sa anumang peligro. Ito mismo ang aking realisasyon habang nag-iikot sa bansa, habang tumutulong sa ating mga kababayan na nasasalanta ng iba't ibang sakuna. Let me stress that the applicants in today's hearing, like Dito Telecommunity, assist the government and its people through means of telecommunication, since connectivity and access to information is of public importance, especially during these trying times. I would like to commend the efforts and sincerity of Dito, the country's third telco player, in improving connectivity in the Philippines. Despite economic turmoil caused by COVID-19, Dito was recently able to fulfill its commitment to the government of providing internet coverage to 37% of the Philippine population with a minimum average broadband speed of 27 Mbps. Dito is now preparing for full rollout, making information dissemination in our country through telecommunication more efficient and stable. To the respective managements of our legislative franchise applicants, always keep in mind that the issuance of a franchise is not the end of the story. Rather, it is only the beginning. I implore you to fulfill your promises to the nation, especially since you are engaged in public service. Your franchise is not a right but a mere privilege that can be revoked once you violate your undertakings. Malaki po ang tiwala namin dito sa Senado at ng lahat ng mga Pilipino na makakatulong kayo sa tuloy-tuloy na pag-unlad ng ating bayan. In addition, Madam Chair, I would like also to reiterate my earlier support for the broadcasting franchise applicants like the city government of Davao and yung pong private entities like Palawan Broadcasting Corporation, Rollin Broadcasting Enterprises Incorporated, and Baycoms Broadcasting Corporation for their dedication to public service. We thank the committee for its support to these measures. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Senator Zviri.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I may have to leave because I have to join the Commission on Appointments hearing.
Me too.
Yeah, so I move, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, that these measures be put forth on plenary already and approved on committee level, Madam Chair. Congratulations to them.
Thank you. Congratulations and thank you again to our resource persons, especially naging attorney na rin, si Engineer Gala. Maraming salamat po. Maraming talagang, alam mo, napaka-technical nitong bagay na to. We need somebody we can trust to really look into this honestly and fairly. And you've done so. This is a service to your country and your countrymen. Thank you. And also to Dito Telecommunications and all the other franchises, congratulations. This hearing is now
Maraming
adjourned.
salamat po.
Thank you, ma'am. Salamat po.